After I agreed to baptize him, he heaved a deep sigh of relief because he was afraid that I would say, I can't baptize you because your sins are too grievous, your sins are too bad, your sins are unforgivable. Well, that violates everything I've ever believed, and I would never say that. Jesus Christ came to save sinners. Jeffrey Dahmer was a sinner, and it's as simple as that.
Pretty intense, huh? I mean, it's not every day the story of a prisoner getting baptized by a minister makes the internet. But you see, this particular case is a lot more complicated than meets the eye, as the minister in question has just revealed some shocking news about Dahmer's baptism, and let's just say that the twists and turns in the killer's story never end. So what then made his baptism so different from the regular process? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I mean, unless you are literally living under a rock, there's no way the tale of Jeffrey Dahmer hasn't caught your attention, considering that Netflix made a whole docuseries about him. Well, if you haven't, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster, was an American serial killer who was convicted in the late 90s for brutally taking the lives, and in some cases, eating over a dozen young men.
I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls.
Now, considering that prison is full of people with different levels of offenses, imagine the shock of the minister that baptized Dahmer when he found out what got him locked up. Well, the man has now come out to talk about it. According to reports, Roy, who was working at a church in Wisconsin where Dahmer committed his crimes and was later jailed, had been asked by another minister from Oklahoma if he would baptize Dahmer, who had expressed his wish to do so after finding God. After several balked at the prospect of being in a room with the mass murderer nicknamed the Milwaukee Cannibal, eventually Roy agreed to carry out the baptism.
I can't baptize you because your sins are too grievous, your sins are too bad, your sins are unforgivable.
Roy said that at the time he was relatively ignorant of the details of Dahmer's crimes, and it was only when his wife said you ought to learn more about him that he began reading more on the topic. When I first met him, I didn't know the grisly details, and I think it was better not to know because it allowed me not to be prejudiced towards him. Roy stated that he made his first visit to prison to meet Dahmer in April 1994 and was led through doors where the banging was a little disconcerting, to a room with a just table and chairs to wait for Dahmer. He had been warned to take off his tie in case it was used as a weapon and began to notice he was sweating while he waited, although the only thing that brought them together was baptism. But according to Roy, things got more intense as time passed. The minister revealed that when they got talking, Dahmer confessed about eating some of his victims. Pretty chilling, huh? Well, while most people would consider this as a sign to back off, the minister didn't give up on the prisoner. In fact, his honest confession later led to the pair being friends, so much so that he specifically stated that he felt a sense of grief when Dahmer was executed with an iron bar by fellow inmate. Well, as is the case with news in general, a lot of people were particularly thrilled about this revelation, and many of them have been showing it on social media. One user wrote, "How can Jeffrey Dahmer execute and eat 17 dudes, then all of a sudden get baptized and he's forgiven? Nope, not having it." Well, looks like this story might be more complicated than it seems, but then only the minister knows what he saw in Dahmer. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Bye.